Thank you, Vice President. I'd like to implement our right of reply regarding the statements made by Norway, Australia, Great Britain, Slovakia, Bulgaria, USA, and the EU. These delegations made statements that make it clear that they don't entirely understand the reasons why we began the special military operation. So I'd like to remind them of these reasons. It's the defense from many years of terrorist attacks against the Russian population of Donbass, the Russian-speaking population of the Donbass, due to the rejection by NATO to provide Russia with legal guarantees of our security and safety in the context of the unprecedented use of military means by the Ukraine, sabotaging by Ukraine, and neo-Nazi regimes from Ukraine with the consent of their Western curators of the Minsk Agreement, which was adopted by the UNSC. Our actions are in accordance with Article 51 of the UN Charter, and the beginning of the special military operation was, the UN was made aware of this. And so we cannot call this an unprovoked or unsubstantiated military aggression against Ukraine. And now I would like to respond to this statement made by the delegation of Ukraine. We firmly repudiate any accusations of our country by this delegation. The Ukrainian military since 2014 in the conflict in the Donbass has been specifically targeting civilian infrastructure, including medical education institutions, Kyiv has been using military terrorism, and this has led to an unprecedented rise in victims amongst the civilian population. First of all, this is the Russian-speaking population in Ukraine. Since Ukraine began using heavy artillery provided by the U.S., there's been a fourfold increase in victims. The uncontrolled provision of weapons and the use of the civilian population as a human shield, the deployment of military technology, and shelling of civilian and residential buildings and civilian infrastructure, the movement of military and military objects to non-military items which are not marked as military locations, the use of prohibited, non-conventional, inhumane forms of weapons, including cluster bombs and other large-scale weapons, and looting, the prohibition of evacuation of civilians, killings, torture of Russian prisoners of war. These are all tactics used by the Ukrainian military. The destruction of the Kakhovka power plant was the result of a shelling of infrastructure by Ukraine. Destruction of the dam in order to achieve a position of military superiority was declared by Kyiv earlier. As a result of this, any opportunities to provide fresh water to the Crimean Peninsula is blocked. The responsibility for this, the people who suffered as a result of the dam's destruction, the only cause for this is the fact that they speak Russian. We are also referring to another crime against the civilian population by the inhumane Kyiv regime. Thank you, Vice President.
Thank you very much.